Hello, this is Allie with Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we're going to wrap up this little three-part series on learning trauma. And so if you have not already done so, please go back and watch part 1, 2, and 3, which I will put the links down below. And I highly recommend that you actually go and watch the How You Can Get to Your Dream Life and Still Feel Like Shit series, which I will post the links to down below as well, because the information in there ties into the information in here. Now, today what we're going to talk about is how to start to integrate and heal and move forward with this learning trauma that we all have, okay? So in the first couple of videos, we talked about how we were scolded when we needed things and how learning became a traumatic thing because we were shown that we should already know everything. And then in the education system, we were given a second learning trauma, which is that information doesn't mean anything. It's just information. And that intellectual information is valuable in and of itself. And these two things are incorrect. So now, where we're going to go with this is this, okay? If you watch the videos that I posted on the Living Your Dream Life, you're going to know that what we talked about was that at the very end of the day, okay, reality is our #1 teacher. What we are all trying to learn is how reality functions and how to function within that. Because, and here's the reason why. Because when we understand how the reality is working, so the reality being the reality at large, the universal principles, and the individual self, who we are and what we are here to do, we then can be creative. And this is what feels truly the best thing, right? To be life generating, meaning we are literally creating new life. Something new that has never existed before. We are moving from a place of seeing how the structure is and playing within that, within a creative capacity to make something new that is unique to you. This is where true joy comes from. And we can't do that when we have a learning trauma, when we are not capable of learning, because who and what you are is constantly going to be evolving so long as you're learning. So this is what life is. Life is a constant state of evolution, the pattern repeating and becoming exponential, more and more and more, bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more perfected. This is a part of what you are. Okay, so for instance, in my life, a part of what brings me great joy is to make these videos and write the blogs that I write. Because they're my creative iteration on what reality is. It's not, this isn't new in the sense that this information that I'm giving you is new. I didn't come up with any of this. However, my way of presenting it, my perspective, what I have been through, how I talk about it, what it means to me, how I'm putting the things together, this is all my creative expression. And so it is something new that has not existed before. No one's ever said it the way that I've said it before. And no one ever will. And so whatever it is that you're here to do, you're here to create. It's, if you're an artist, you're an artist. If you're a lawyer, you're a lawyer. If you're gonna build sustainable property and grow plants, you're gonna do that. You're gonna make music. It doesn't matter, because whatever you are is a singularity. You are unique, have never happened before, will never happen again. And so all of your expressions are exactly that. And to understand that all of your expressions then are an addition to the structure of reality, that which already exists, right? We've talked about this a lot. We know the universe is expanding. How is it expanding? Every time a human does something new, the universe expands, consciousness expands, which then creates the possibility for even more expansion, because this new thing creates a whole bunch of more information, new information we didn't have because you did something new, which then creates the conditions for you to do something else, right? Because every time we take in new information, we then have the capacity to do a new action, a new thing, a new expression. And that new expression creates more information, which then creates the conditions for a new expression. So this is how the universe is adding to itself. Every time you learn something, then act on it, more information, yes, you create more universe. You literally add to consciousness. So when we are caught up in the learning traumas, we are stunting ourselves into staying stagnant. Because in order for us to be learning, we have to admit we don't already know. That's the first thing. We don't already know. We don't already have it all figured out. We are going to try something based on what we think is going to happen, and that may or may not be correct, but it doesn't matter if it's correct or not. Okay, so here, let's back up a little, okay? The reason we're all stuck in our learning trauma, right, is because we have this fear of being wrong. So that's a big, big thing. The fear of being wrong, and we have the fear that learning something new means we were wrong before. So these two things, this fear of being wrong, which you were taught when you were a child, if you do something and it doesn't go how you thought it was going to go, that means you did something wrong, and that's bad. That's the first trauma that we need to start to get over. How do we get over it? This is how we get over it. You need to shift your mindset to everything is an opportunity to learn how the reality works. So if you want something and you go to make that thing happen and it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, you need to let go of the idea that this means you can't have it. This is the true law of attraction, okay? This is where we get rid of this learning trauma. Number one, if your method of getting what you want didn't work, it simply means the method didn't work. It does not mean you can't have what you want, okay? It does not mean you were wrong about the thing that you wanted. It means this is not how we're going to get it. This is the Thomas Edison building the light bulb thing. He said he built 100 light bulbs that didn't work, and then the 101st one did. Now, he said, I built 100 light bulbs that didn't work, and every single one of those light bulbs gave me information that I needed to make the one that did. This is how we have to start to look at our lives. Every single time you do something and it doesn't go how you thought it was going to go, don't give up and say the light bulb isn't possible. Don't say, I'm never going to be able to figure it out because that thing that I just didn't work. You need to start to become the kind of person that says, okay, what happened? What about reality did I not understand? I thought this was going to happen, this happened instead. Reality is correct. I am here to learn about reality. So what did I learn? This is the biggest thing. When you can let go of the idea, because the fear that we're wrong is really the fear that we can't have what we want. That's what this is. We're afraid that if I do this thing, it doesn't go how I'm supposed to go, that means I can't have what I want. Wrong. You can have anything you want. You might just have to do 100 failed light bulbs before you have the light bulb. This is what you need to understand. If you can start to look at every failed attempt as information you need to create the successful attempt, you will lose this learning trauma. You will integrate this learning trauma and move forward. So, start to see, what did I learn from the thing that didn't go how I wanted it to go? What did I learn from the thing that didn't go how I wanted it to go? Because again, you're going to tune into your feelings. And when you tell yourself, oh, I did that wrong and that means I'm stupid or that means I can't have it, it's going to feel shitty. And that's how you know it's not true. So you're going to tune in and you're going to say, what did I learn from that? If it wasn't wrong, this was just a piece of information, how does that feel? If my failed attempt wasn't wrong, it was just a piece of information that I can then take and use in my next attempt to do something different, that's going to feel really good. So you need to tune into your feelings. Okay, this is the first step. Tune into your feelings and the story you're telling yourself about the failed attempts and the things that you're afraid to learn in your life. And everything that doesn't feel good, notice that is where you're saying there was no information there. That means I can't have what I want. I don't like that. That was bad and wrong. Instead of, that was information. If you can start to see absolutely everything in your life as information that's leading you to what you want, everything is going to change for you. There will no longer be an idea of failure. Because if everything is information, which it is, if you start to choose to see things as information rather than, oh, it failed, so therefore it means I can't have it, or it means it doesn't work, or reality is wrong, I'm just going to keep doing this until it works. If we move from that to, what did this show me? This was information. That maybe this is only light bulb 2. Maybe this is failed light bulb 2. I'm going to have 97 other failed light bulbs before I get to the one that works. That's okay, because what I learn in bulb 1 is going to influence bulb 2, which is going to influence bulb 3, which is going to influence bulb 4. So you need to start to develop this, this faith in yourself, that if you're learning from what you're going through, what did I learn from that? What did I learn from that? What did I learn from that? All this pain around learning is going to go away, because you're going to say, okay, I learned from it, and I'm going to take that information and apply it to my next attempt. And this, again, is what feels good. And so the second part about what feels bad about learning or failing is that we are making a failure or something that didn't go how we wanted it to go mean there was no information there. That's what hurts. It's saying, oh, it was wrong, so just completely discount that. No. What did I learn from the failure? What did I learn from the failed attempt that's going to influence what I do differently next time? Okay? Which leads into this second thing of doing something different doesn't mean you were wrong before. So we need to, again, start to become aware of where we are making doing something differently than what I did last time mean I was stupid and wrong and bad before. No. The only thing that is stupid and wrong and bad, because this is what really happens, okay? We're saying, I'm not going to do something different because that means that I was stupid and wrong and bad before. What that traps you in is doing the same thing over and over again. You keep making light bulb 1, which means you never get the real light bulb. That is silly. You're trying to protect yourself from being someone who's silly, really, right? By not admitting that this thing was wrong or that there was anything that you could learn there, which necessitates that you don't get the information that this had for you, which means you can't do something different. Because remember, in order to do something different, you need more information. The information is in the thing that just didn't work. So if you're saying that didn't have information for me, you're stuck right here. And you can only do the things you've always done over and over again. You have to be willing to say, there's information in everything, and I'm willing to learn from everything. I'm willing to learn from everything, because that is what makes me an intelligent person. Intelligence is not, I already knew the answer. Intelligence is, I can learn from everything that happens to me. That is intelligence. So let go of this idea that you had to know beforehand. That is not what life is about. Nobody knows everything, otherwise you wouldn't be here. That's not the point. The point is to learn. And again, if you're really on this, you're going to realize you're going to get to a place where you're learning things that have not been learned by anyone else before. The information doesn't even exist yet. So you couldn't possibly know it. So if you want to be a creator, you have to get so comfortable with, I literally have no idea what's going to happen. I literally have no idea what's going to happen, but it's all information. This is where we start to get excited about learning. It's all information. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm going to have to try and figure it out. And if I can take information from everything, I'm constantly going to be generating life. I'm constantly going to be feeling good because I'm constantly going to be making something new. That's what this is. And then the second thing is that this deep guilt that if we do something different and we change and we grow and we learn, that we were wrong and bad before. And this is just, this is where we need to love ourselves. This is where we need to start to rehab that inner being, that inner child who just feels so crippled by doing something wrong and the punishment that you received when you did something wrong. Okay, and now this very last bit. We also need to understand that information is real. If it's not being applied in your life to create more order, complexity, structure, less chaos, less neuroses, more peace, less destruction, more creation. You haven't learned it. Okay? Information is not something that's just intellectual. This is why we can't go to a healing session and realize something about our childhood and then feel better. We need to understand that, again, life is talking in pain and pleasure. So if we're in pain, we're living out of alignment with life, which means something needs to change in our actual way of being, how we relate to people, how we interact. If there's pain in your relationships, there's false beliefs about how relationships work that you are still living by. You're expecting to do this, right? You're doing this thing, this codependent thing or this narcissistic thing, expecting to get love, and you're getting not love. And this is the, right? You're expecting this result, getting this result, not seeing it's because I'm doing something wrong. My version of reality is incorrect. I think my diet should work. I'm not getting the results. Instead of saying, okay, well then obviously this isn't it. There's information here. What can I learn from this? What is this failure telling me? And how can I change? Yes? We have to start to understand that our pain is the information. If we're really getting it, we're having less pain in our lives. We're not white knuckling it to feel better. We're actually feeling better. Okay? Information, if you're really truly learning, needs to be changing your life. It needs to be changing how you live, how you think, how you speak, how you eat, how you interact with people, the job you do. All of these things need to be continually shifting if you're truly learning. Because if you're in any amount of pain, that pain is showing you're not learning something yet about the reality and how it works. You haven't integrated the truth into actual reality. So like this metaphor, right? You can learn all you want about what it's like to have your hand on a burner and why that burns your hand and how terrible that is and why you should get your hand off the burner and how your hand will heal afterwards and all this stuff. But if you leave your hand on the burner, that information is useless. It does nothing to stop you from being in pain. You have to actually act on this information. Change. Take your hand off the burner. This is where we need to understand it, okay? So if you are learning all this stuff and you're not feeling better, you keep having to go have sessions with people, you keep having to go into your heart space room over and over and over again with the same thing, the same feeling, the same problem with your relationship, the same shit in your body. It looks different, but you still end up just feeling yucky in your body. You still end up feeling yucky in your relationships. You're feeling yucky in your work. You're feeling yucky anywhere. You're not learning. You're not integrating your learning and changing how you're doing things. So we understand that everything that we do that doesn't go how we want it to go doesn't mean we can't have what we want. It means, and it doesn't mean there was no information in that. It means there was lots of information in that. You need to take that information and then it needs to change your actions, your thoughts, your words, how you do things. You do something you've never done before based on that new information. Then you're learning. And then it should start to equal less and less pain. And if it doesn't, you're not learning, or what you're learning you're not applying. And if you're not applying it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you know about nutrition. If you don't actually change how you eat, your body is going to stay sick. Do you see what I'm saying here? So information is not intellectual. If it's not applicable to your life, it's not information. You didn't learn. If you can't let yourself learn from the failure, you're going to be stuck where you are forever. The paradox is this. If you really love yourself, you let yourself fail as much as possible and you never feel bad about it because you understand that it is in that you're learning. You have the complete opposite value system to the matrix, which says, do everything perfect or you suck. No. It's everything is meant to be a failure so that we can learn new information and then do something different next time. And then you be the kind of person who's willing to do something different next time. Let go of that thing you thought was going to work and didn't. Don't have pride about it. This is how we become, really, you love yourself enough. So this is where the self-love is the foundation. Love yourself enough to learn, to make mistakes and learn from it and be different and change and have none of that mean that you're shit. And any of it that does make it, that you are making it feel like shit, go into your heart space room. Okay? You have the tools, but you have to face it over and over. If you're feeling like shit from learning, you got to change how you're seeing it. And you love that part of yourself. And then you do it anyways. Okay? Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next video.